India's bid for NSG membership will continue to see hurdles, with China being vocal in its opposition. Why China is reluctant to support India on NSG entry? What should India do to persuade China to get its support? What is NSG? Is India eligible to get its membership? Why India wants to join NSG? GS Paper 2, Effect of Policies and Politics of Developed and Developing Countries on India's Interests, Indian Diaspora. What is the context about? As India continues to push for a seat at the nuclear high table, it seems an uphill task, and the view from the Hill isn't rosy either. Recently, the former UN High Representative for Disarmament Affairs, Angela Kane, believes that India stands a good 55% chance to make it, but is opposed to India's push. Thus the Chinese representative, a high-ranking ambassador, was very vocal in opposing India's NSG bid, opposing the US position on this. Why China is reluctant to support India on NSG entry? China has opposed India's bid to get NSG membership on the ground that it was yet to sign the NPT. At the same time, China has been lobbying for Pakistan's entry into the group. The elevation of India on the world platform, in the elite group, NSG, of 5 could harm the Chinese influence in South and Southeast Asia. China is concerned that India could achieve new avenues for nuclear trade and technology mostly in the Southeast Asia and with the countries like Vietnam, Philippines, Brunei, which constantly struggle on the South China Sea. India's is a member into MTCA while the China isn't. What should India do to persuade China to get its support? India should maintain tranquility and strengthen bilateral ties with China in following ways. India can join Maritime Silk Route and become member of Belt and Road Initiative. India should show its record as responsible nuclear power and make a strong case for its inclusion. India can promise to open selective Indian market in a phased manner to revive its basic heavyweight industries. This will ensure sale of Chinese goods to a huge Indian market, which in turn would give faster turnaround of its piling up inventories. India can offer market for relocating Chinese plants facing closure from China to India along with transfer of key Chinese personnel. This will help China in reducing dead or loss-making unit to India. What is NSG? Is India eligible to get its membership? Founded in the aftermath of India's nuclear test in May 1974, the NSG is a club of 48 countries dedicated to curbing nuclear arms proliferation, by controlling the export and retransfer of materials that could foster nuclear weapons development. An American initiative, its objective was to make India join the Non-Proliferation Treaty. India has stayed away from discriminatory NPT. It was 2008 civil nuclear deal with the US, seen as a validation of India's non-proliferation credentials, which paved the way for Delhi's NSG bid. Note, the NPT remains a biased regime that classifies the world into the nuclear haves, the US, and Russia, the UK, France and China, and have-nots, all other countries. There is little to suggest that Big Five will work for a world free of nuclear weapons. Why India wants to join NSG? Clean energy push. India is a growing country with massive energy needs. It has set for itself an ambitious goal of sourcing 40% of its power from non-fossil sources, and here is where nuclear energy comes into play. India will need latest technology and NSG membership will come in handy. Though it got a one-time NSG waiver in 2008, The country needs constant access to global markets and a stable trading framework. It helps domestic firms. India has a robust indigenous nuclear industry that worked mostly in isolation as international sanctions were slapped every time a nuclear test was conducted. An NSG membership will make these companies comply with international norms and make it easier for them to ply their trade abroad. Make in India boost. New Delhi and Moscow have announced a plan to build reactors in India to sell them to other countries, a move expected to give a push to the Modi government's Make in India initiative. It will not only generate jobs but also help in technology development. As an NSG member, India will be better placed to implement the initiative. End of the nuclear winter. One of the objectives of the 2008 nuclear deal was that the US would help India get into export control regimes such as the NSG, the MTCR, Missile Technology Control Regime, Australia Group and Wassenaar Arrangement. As a member of these groupings, India will have access to defense, space and nuclear technologies. The MTCR is done. Of the remaining, the NSG is most crucial.